Hi, everyone. This is the second recording of the Phonics Companion Structured Literacy lessons. Let's begin. So where are you going to find these lessons? You can find these lessons if you go to the new curriculum site, the NCIS site, and you click on resources. You can find it in either grade 2 or grade 1. This time I've clicked grade 2. And then you want to click on the ELAL resources. And that'll take you to, you scroll down and then you'll see the Faunus Companion Guide. And then you click on the Scope and Sequence guide and it will take you to this chart. And then on the chart, the lessons are linked to under the grapheme. So whichever grapheme you're teaching that day is the where you're going to click, and then a bunch of Google Slides will come up. So then what are the components that are going to be in the slides? So there's always starts with decoding, and in the decoding, there'll be some phonemic awareness. You'll review all the graphemes, so the letter sound correspondence. There's about 3 that you'll do some blending with. Then there'll be an explicit lesson. There's a little bit more phonemic awareness just to bring awareness to where the sound is occurring in words. There'll be some word practice, so reading some more words, and then a decodable sentence. And then the lesson flips into encoding. So you'll practice single phoneme grapheme review, so saying the sound and then having the kids write it down. Then you'll spell some words, and there'll be a sentence to dictate, and then the kids can check that with the COP strategy. So this is what a slide looks like for phonemic awareness, and the information is housed in the notes section under the slide. And so what we're hoping for is the blending part is for teachers to have their class say the sound segmented and then blend it. So go in, nap, nap. To have the kids doing that with you. And then it's the same words. So, sorry, on the other side. But this time you'd say to the kids, say in, and the kids say in. Okay, now say it slow to me. And the kids go in. And so you're helping them with those encoding skills. Then it goes into grapheme phoneme review. And all it is you want the kids to say their name of the letter and the sound. So A, I, E, U, O, AR, OR, or, ER, IR, CK, K. And the reason that is important, sorry, is it allows the kids to see the graphemes together. So like AR or CK, they see it as a unit. And there's lots of review to help them get to mastery. The next piece is the blending. So you see the dots, and we're trying to just give a visual representation that we want to say the sounds first, and then we'll blend it. So rack, rack, and you're going to want to do these orally, chorally with your class. Bird, bird. Ort, ort. The next piece is the lesson, the explicit lesson, and the way the lessons are made is first you're going to show kids pictures for the auditory, and you're really bringing their attention to the sound, and then you'll show the visual representation, and then there's a piece where we'll ask the kids to draw it in the air on the carpet. So this is what it looks like. So I would say, can you say curl to my kids? And all the kids say curl. What do you hear in the middle of that word? And the kids would say, right. Okay, now say burn. Kids say burn. What do you hear in the middle of that word? And the kids say, good. And then surf. They're like, right. Okay, so let's see what's making that sound. So we're representing with the UR. So burn also has the UR sound. That's why you're hearing and same with surf. And then there'll be a slide that has the grapheme phoneme that you just taught. And so you want the kids to trace it. U, R, U, R, U, R, And you want to do it 3 times, 3 different ways, because you're just trying to train the brain with all this different sensory inputs that you can. And that piece might help a child that has like a phoneme, phonological delay. But it's and the kids like it. It's a little bit of a break. The next piece that comes after that is just a short piece of phonemic awareness. And you're just trying to ask the kids where they're hearing that sound in the word. So like you would say, okay, I'm going to say turn. And the kids go turn. Where do you hear the sound? The kids will point to the middle. So church, everyone say church. Okay, let's say it slow. Ch, Where do you hear it? They're like in the middle, right? The sound usually is coming in the middle. It's good, usually. Okay. And then you'll have some words that come up. And so it says, we're doing that I do, we do, you do model. So the teacher model. So fur. And we put them in the L boxes just so the kids can see what's being represented by what sound. So the UR, when they see it, has to be one sound, right? Earl, curl. And so the teachers to model how to break down those words and say it. So blend them. And then these are read together ones. So you orally read these together. And I would read them twice. So blend it. Hurt, earn, burn. Good. What was that word? Burn. And let's see if we can remember this one. Hurt. Good. So there's some more words to read together, more words to read together. And then there's the challenge words. All these words are coming from the Phonics Companion. And so these words are good to help kids with the blends before, the blends after. So it just gives them a little bit chance to expand their skills. And then there's a couple sentences for decodable reading, just so that they can apply what they've learned into real words. And the sentences should only include the skills up to that point. So then there's a list in the NCIS that's connected to the scope and sequence where it gives you the decodable books that would go with that skill. So after you've done the decoding, that might be a good time to bring out a book and read either as a class or maybe with partners and allow them to try. But just a reminder that is there and it has been done. And then I wanted to bring this to your attention. So if you are teaching probably at the end of grade 1 here, and you're pointing out that the A can make the A sound like in later, that when the kids see the A in the letter review at the very beginning, after you've taught this skill, A says and A can say A. It's important that kids know when they have to be flexible. Okay, so that would also apply to O, like in cold, and E and S. So when they see the E grapheme in the letter review, they would say E says F, and E can say E, but only after you've taught the skill. Okay. So then if you notice in May, you're teaching the ED sound. So the first time you teach suffix ED, kids would say suffix ED, and that's why that line is there, to help them recognize that you're adding it to a word. Suffix ED says D. The next lesson you teach them, well, suffix ED is now saying T. So when they see suffix ED in the card drill, the letter review drill, they would want to say suffix ED says D and T. And then guess what? There's a third one. Suffix ED says D, T, and id. Yay. Just so they know that there's three things. So then in grade 2, you'll see the OW. So there's OW in town. You teach them that. They practice lots. And then there's another lesson on OW, but this time it's saying O. So after you've taught this lesson, they encounter the OW in the letter review. They want to say OW can say ow, and OW can say O. So that's one where they have to be flexible. And then same with EA. Over here, you teach the vowel team EA says E, but then in January, further down, you're going to teach them that EA can also represent the S sound. And so when they see this grapheme in the letter review, they'll say, after you've taught the skill, EA says E, and EA can also say F. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Okay, so then the slides flip into encoding. And so these are the types of slides you're going to see. So this is for letter sounds, just practicing single letter sounds, then spelling, and then there's a sentence dictation, and then there's COPS. Okay, and so I'll take you through those slides. So for the letter sounds, again, the information is housed in the notes. This is a way that I've been taught to do it with kids. And so the teacher would, I'm just going to take you through the sound. Teacher says, say the kids all repeat that, say and then we say, what do we write when we hear and so kids would write UR on their board, but because they've also been taught IR and ER, you would be expecting them to say IR and ER can say so if you're doing it on the whiteboard, I often just put windows, and the kids represent the sound in each space. So they would have UR, ER, and IR say and then the next one would say, okay, say R. Kids all say R. What do you write when you hear R? And the kids say AR, and then they write AR. Then go to the next one, say or. What do you say? What do you hear? What do we write when we say or? And the kids say or. They write or. And then say qua. What would we write when we hear qua? And they say QU. And so QU. And then because we have all the windows filled in, I would have the kids then go back and erase them and say the sound. So they would say R and erase, or erase, qua, erase. And then there's 4 more to do. So these are all previous sounds that have been taught in previous lessons. If you're teaching and you think you need to change them because your kids are struggling with something or they need more practice with something, please change them. That's just, it's a starting place to review sounds. Yeah, so that's the letter sound review. It goes pretty quick. Kids quite like it. Then the next piece is multisensory spelling. And so what you're seeing here is the visuals. First, you want the kids to listen, then we're going to say the sounds, and then we're going to write. And that is being represented by what the teacher says here. So the teacher says, I'll show you with the word hurt. Teacher says, say hurt. Kids all say hurt. Teacher asks, what sound do we hear? And at that point, the kids might tap on their fingers. They might make dots on their page. They might do their arms. So the kids would go, hurt. Good. Now you know that they can segment. Now they can go ahead and write the letters for that. I would also tell them to that when they hear the sound, they don't have to guess that it's going to be you are this time. Because some kids might ask you, well, which one is it? And you're going to tell them it's going to be you are this time. So that's how it goes. So teacher says hurt. Kids repeat it, hurt. What sounds do we hear in hurt? Hurt, or hurt, or they're tapping out so you can see that they know the sounds. Then you say, yep, okay, go ahead, write the sounds. Kids are writing H-U-R-T, hurt. And they say, what did we write? We wrote hurt. Then you go to the next word and repeat. Then after that, you've done all the words. I believe that I've given you 6. Usually the last 2 are some kind of review. Again, you can change these words. I have always learned to do the first 3 or 4 for the skill that you've taught. And then the next ones can be words that you're reviewing that you think the kids need help with. There's also challenge words. And these again are coming from the Phonics Companion, just to give them a little bit bigger of a challenge if the kids want a challenge. And that's one way you can differentiate. So once you've done that, then there's the sentence dictation. And so these are all words that the kids should be able to spell now. And so the routine that you would do this is the teacher tells a sentence, did the dog get hurt? The kids can map it out if they want. I would have them repeat it. The kids say, did the dog get hurt? Say, okay, go ahead and try and spell it. At this point, you don't want to give the kids any help. If they ask for the sentence again because they can't remember it, that's fine. But you really want them to encourage to try and spell words on their own, because this is a really good formative assessment to see where kids are at in applying what you've taught. Can they segment all the sounds? Can they remember all the words? Are they able to get the sound that you just applied? Because you just taught it, I wouldn't be looking for mastery, but I would be looking to see if they're able to apply when you correct it. Are they able to see that, oh, I made a mistake? So I would ask the kids to try their best at this point, and we will go back and check it when we do COPS. And again, when you give the sentence, tell them when they hear the you're going to use the UR sound so that they don't have to guess when they're writing the sentence. And the whole point of this is that you've taught the skill. Hopefully the kids have picked it up, and you're asking them to do something you know that they can do. And so that's what I always tell kids is I'm not going to ask you to do something you can't do. You can do it. You have the skills. We will check at the end, and it's okay to make mistakes. And so then there'll be a slide with the COPS in it. And so when kids are done, you can ask them, once you've taught the routine, did you check your capitals? And I'd put this slide up. Overall appearance, did you write it neat? Did you include punctuation, spelling? And usually kids are really good. They'll go back and they'll correct and they'll put their period. And they'll read it back. And I always tell them if there's anything they're not sure if they spell right, just underline it, because that shows me that you're thinking whether or not you have all the sounds. And that's what we want to see is kids thinking about sounds when they're spelling. And then so that is the end of all the slides. And here's a way that you could incorporate this. You could do Monday, just the decoding piece of those slides. So if you were doing UR, and then Tuesday do the encoding piece of those slides. And so that might take you 20 minutes, 20 minutes. It might be less once you get the routine down. And then on the Wednesday, do the next lesson. And the next lesson that would come in the Phonics Companion is that long I sound in kind. and then do the encoding, and then do a review of all those of those. And maybe you're playing the games out of the Phonics Companion, maybe you're reading books, maybe you're reading books in the decoding. How you want to do this is completely up to you. Or you might try and do decoding and encoding all of those slides on one day for UR, and then play games and read decodable books the next day just to consolidate that skill, and then do the next lesson on I. And then play games and decodable books, and then review everything on Friday. Might be a way you want to go about it, but it depends on your kids, and you know your kids best. So you got to decide what kind of routine you want to make with your kids. And just a reminder that there are really good games in the teacher tools for the Phonics Companion that'll align with your lessons. Here's some of them, just an example. So if you're teaching the letters, this is a good fun game that the kids can play. You could also put it in a sleeve so you don't have to keep photocopying, and the kids could just use wipe away markers. There's just some game boards that you can print out, the master ones, and there's roll and write and roll and read. Very good. And you can also use UFly if you want to connect them to them. They're really good as well. And then if you want to see this in action with a whole class, if you want to see what it might look like, that I went out and I taught a lesson to some it was like grade 1, 2, and 3 kids. And so we've broken it up into each component on the slide. So if you want an idea of what it could look like, this is one way that it could look like. And so that's on the NCIS website. If you go, it's actually on the grade 1 page. So you go to resources and then keep scrolling down. It's right under the Phonics Companion. So if you have any questions or concerns, or you want me to come out and model it, I'd be happy to do that. Just give me an email and I will respond as quick as I can. I hope you are, if you're using the Phonics Companion, I hope these slides help. And please just reach out anytime you need any help or you're wondering about something. Always happy to answer questions. I hope you have a really good day, and I will hopefully see you soon.